Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing well. I have gotten a few questions about time management with grading and really just how to approach it without, having that last minute Sunday night deadline and the stress that that can involve. And so I thought that maybe I'd just create a quick little video and go over some ideas with all of you. Of course, you all know about time management. You're balancing in most cases, more than one job with your family and your personal life and everything else you have going on. And so I know that you all already have a lot of strategies and techniques, but these are just a few of the things that I've learned and that have worked for me, so I thought I would share them with you. The first thing I do is I personally like to spread my grading out over the week. I find that this is really helpful for me for a lot of reasons, some of which I'll get in a minute, but I know that each of you has your own style, and some of you like to grade all together so that you can be consistent and fair, but I found that spacing it out over the course of the week is helpful because then I don't have that last minute stress. I don't get my eyes crossed, trying to grade 20 essays in just a few hours. And it just helps me break things up throughout the week so that I don't have to have necessarily a really long period of time to feel like I can start grading. I can just do what fits on, if I have an hour, then I can do however many I get in an hour. If I have 2 hours, I can do however many I get in 2 hours on that next day. And so it really helps me to break things up across the week. And I know that some of you are balancing 2 classes just here, and then most of you are also teaching classes elsewhere, and so you have a lot of grading. You have different grading deadlines, and you have a lot of different assignments to work through, and trying to space things out over the course of the week could be a great option for you as well. I find that when I try to grade all on one day, I get really repetitive with what I'm saying, and I kind of maybe lose interest a lot. And so whenever I am able to break it up over the course of the week, it keeps my ideas fresh, it keeps my perspective fresh on what students need to do to really move forward with their writing, and it allows me to have just a little bit more time on each student as well. I remember that one of my instructors used to grade what she could do in a day and hand that back in class. And so sometimes she'd hand back 5 papers and the rest of us would be sitting there without our work. And at first it seemed a little bit odd to me. But then I really understood her purpose, because she was keeping the class moving forward, at least to some people, and she was showing us, hey, like, I don't just sit around in my office and not do anything all day. I have been grading, and here's what I have done, and I'm going to give, the work back to those I'm finished with. And so I know not all of you will like that approach, but I think it kind of actually helped as a student to see, hey, like, my instructor, she actually is grading papers. She's not just all waiting until right before she must give them back to me or something like that. And you can also think about your students' needs as you do this. So that instructor, she didn't always grade the same person's paper first. So it wasn't like the first 5 were the special 5 who always got their papers back. But sometimes she started in the middle of the alphabet, or sometimes she started at the end of the alphabet. She would mix things up, and so it wasn't always the same people getting the same papers back first and the same people waiting till the very end at every time. And we can kind of do the same thing, mix up how we grade things so that some days, some weeks students get their feedback on Thursday, and some weeks it's Friday, and some weeks it is Sunday, and we can mix that up, but they'll see we do work all week and that we care about them and that we're involved instructors. Another thing we can do with that is consider our students' needs. If you have a disability student who needs extra time on his or her work anyway, maybe you want to get feedback back to that student first so that he or she can keep moving forward as soon as possible. If you have a student who always is logged in on Monday and Tuesday posting in the discussion thread, try to get that student feedback early in the week too, because you know that student's going to take that feedback and keep moving forward right away rather than waiting anyway. If you have the student who always logs in at 5 p.m. on Sunday and you don't see him or her throughout the rest of the week, maybe that student can be one you do wait and do closer to the end of your grading. Also think about your own schedule and your plan. I know most of you also teach at other institutions. You may have grading deadlines there, you may not. At other schools I teach for, at one school I have a Tuesday deadline, and at one school I have a Wednesday deadline, and then I have a Sunday deadline here. And so I have to think about my own schedule whenever I decide what I'm going to do and when I'm going to prioritize the different things. So think about your schedule. If Saturday is always family day for you, then figure out a different day or a set of days that you want to grade on. If Thursday is your most stressful day in the classroom, then Thursday is probably not going to be a good grading day for you. So maybe you want to do a little little bit on Friday and a little bit on Saturday. But think about those things that are going to allow you to give the most effective feedback, considering your own schedule, not necessarily just on-time feedback, and that might help the approach a little bit too. I also always try to have a plan when I'm grading. Sometimes that plan is, okay, I'm going to go grade 5 outlines, and that gives me kind of a goal and something to work toward, and it makes me actually get on it instead of waiting until I have hours and hours of time, which doesn't happen very often. But I also have a plan with the order of things I'm going to grade. So during this week, I would always grade the outlines first so that students can get that feedback and move toward their drafts, and then I would grade the peer reviews last, and then I would grade, well, I guess, second, and then the late work last for the week. And that way, I can get students moving forward on their drafts. They're still going to get their peer review feedback in a timely manner if they post it on time, and then I can get to that late work later on. So think about your own kind of plan and how you want to structure things as well. So why should we care about, how we grade or managing our time, or trying to grade early in the week and not waiting till 10 o'clock on Sunday? One of the things that I found is it helps me have a higher quality of feedback. We always encourage our students to start early in the week on their writing, and of course, feedback isn't exactly the same as writing, but if we start earlier in the week, we're going to have more time, we're going to have more focus, we're going to be able to produce higher quality feedback, just like our students can produce a higher quality of writing whenever they space things out over the week, or they start early and they're not rushed and stressed. And I found that to be the case in my own experience. When I'm waiting until the last minute, or I'm trying to give feedback in a hurry, then my comments are a little bit sloppy. They might not be as clear as they could be. They might not include those detailed explanations of how to get from proficient to exemplary, because I'm just trying to get it done or trying to hurry. And so I'm sure most of you have seen the same thing too. When you have more time, then you can have higher quality feedback, and so that's a great benefit. I've also found that stress goes down a lot when I'm not kind of bumping up against the time clock there. I know we've had some Blackboard issues recently, and those can always be a little bit stressful anyway. Of course, everyone at the university is accommodating about those things, but it still causes stress because it throws your schedule off when you had time to grade. It you spend an hour trying to log in and it's not even working for you, then you're contacting me, you're trying to contact your students to let them know, and it just adds some stress. Even if there aren't issues with Blackboard or your internet or a personal emergency coming up, then it's still a little bit stressful just bumping up against that clock, right? When you're constantly looking, am I going to be done on time? Is this going to, am I going to miss the deadline? And all of those things that adds stress to the situation, so we aren't always able to give the clearest or the best feedback, or maybe it just, raises your blood pressure even if you work well under those circumstances. And then finally, I found that for me, spacing things out over the week and not waiting till the last minute gives me less burnout. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot just sit down and grade 25 essays in a row. My eyes start to cross. I honestly sometimes get bored. I find myself repeating the same things over and over again. And so by spacing things out and by starting early, it helps me to not feel burned out. I have fresher ideas to offer students. I don't get as frustrated with students, especially those ones who maybe have repeated the same errors a few times already in the term, and I'm just able to offer usually more personal insights and help when I kind of space things out. And so I know this might not work for everyone, but these are just some of the things I have learned and that have helped me produce better feedback. And I know that also will go a lot with your own schedule and your own personality and your feedback style. And so all of those things are kind of incorporated. So I'd really enjoy hearing some of your thoughts in the team shell if you want to post in the discussion how you approach your grading, even when you like to grade. Any strategies or hints or tips you have that you can share with the team, I think that would be really great, and I would enjoy hearing your insights on those.